All right, welcome back. Weekly Forex Cash. All right, we're gonna get right into it. This is looking like a really nice, solid week setting up right now. Had some beautiful moves to end last week. Primarily dealing with the dollar right now. All right, looking at the dollar index, we can see here on the weekly, man, we finally broke out of this range. All right, the dollar was ranging at this low of demand for really the last several weeks, last few weeks. All right, it was ranging here. Failing to fully just break out of this range. All right, but we see here on the weekly, we finally got that pump. This is the pump I've really been waiting for or anticipating. So we got this bullish engulfing close here on the weekly. All right, so that's a good sign that we're likely to head higher on the dollar. All right, and looking to the left, last time price was here, same thing, pumped up to this level. All right, so we could possibly see price come back at least to that level of resistance. So we're going to see how price develops. Looking to the left, of course, we had major, supply or resistance areas to the left. So now we're finding support from that level. All right. So we'll go down to the smaller time frame. This was pretty much also an inverted head and shoulders here on the daily. Like right here, you can see if I identify this price action right here. So you can see this is an inverted head and shoulders. I also was waiting for it to pop. So now we did pop, basically essentially breaking what would be considered like the neckline of that. All right. So now with the dollar index, we could start the week out with, a bit of a pullback, but overall, I'm still expecting this to continue up. Maybe price come down to this 4-hour area of this demand structure right here, possibly. But some type of pullback potentially. But overall, even on a pullback, I'm still expecting the dollar to continue up and head bullish this week. All right. So we can see how the majors are lining up along with that and see how this can give us an edge to catch some of these plays. All right. Started with GBP USD. So this is a pair that I'm actually still swinging. I have a short position on this. Somewhere up here around 1.26. All right. So I'm still swinging this, roughly in about 140 pip of profit. But it's the reason why I swung this, because I see how the dollar's setting up and expecting GU to go in line with the strength of the dollar. So we see here on the weekly, looking to the left, last time price was here, price had a big fall. All right. So this is a fresh zone. This is the first time price retested this zone since summer of 2022. All right. So here we are in summer of coming into the summer, May, June of 2023. And we're getting the same rejection. All right. That's not a coincidence. So we can see here, we got this big bearish engulfing here that's closed on the weekly. Good sign that the sellers are in control, and I'm expecting this to continue down even further. This gives me a strong confirmation, strong indication that we're likely to continue further. Now, we could see some type of pullback first, but that's what I'm looking for. So if you see here on the daily, all right, when price came into the supply zone, beautiful close right here. Evening star. This is a strong evening star close on the daily. All right. Usually I like to see a deeper pullback after that and then catch that, but it didn't give much of a pullback. I'm thankful that I was actually already in before that, so I didn't really need much of a pullback. So I caught most of this down move. All right. So now the next daily candle is slightly pulled back, but then we see a nice close here on the daily. All right. So I'm going to go down to the smaller time frame. We're going to see what we can expect, because really I'm anticipating GU to still stay below this daily candle close. All right. Ideally, but even if it pulled back deeper, my bias wouldn't change. It still would be bearish. All right. So let's go down to the smaller time frame, and boom, you can see here, all right, looking at price. And what I can do is I can take a counter trend line. All right. We actually broke that. So seeing right here, this was the slight retest. We broke, retest the trend line as well, but this was a slight pullback. Even here, I would ideally like to see a deeper. I was looking for a deeper pullback, like somewhere within here. Then I would have really added position. But we didn't get that. It just continued out further. I can't complain, especially when I'm swinging it. And, now I can just move my, stop loss in the profit like above structure here. All right. But I am looking for another opportunity on this. So seeing this move here, boom, correction, another impulsive leg down. Now we are sitting at an interesting level of support, but I'm still looking for, I would look for price to pull up, we could possibly see price pull within here. All right, possibly. But overall, even if it does on this correction or pullback, I would look for price to continue down and break this level of structure. If I look on the daily, all right, we break below here because the daily we are sitting at a previous level. It was support, but then this is a previous level of resistance or supply. All right, so if we break below there, that's a stronger indication that we're likely going down further. All right, so I would like to see price come down and just continue that. And if the dollar just continues bullish, like it's looking like it's setting up to do, then that means GU we're likely setting up for even bigger swing to the downside. All right, so that's GU bearish bias. Next up, Euro USD. Finally breaking out of this range. So it's no coincidence the dollar finally broke out the range. EU finally broke out the range that it was stuck in. If we look here on the weekly, look to the left, price rejected a previous level of supply, right? Last time price was here, big fall. So we see here on the weekly, look at the type of pattern we got, strong evening star rejection here, doji evening star on the weekly. That's a good sign that this is likely setting up for an even bigger wave down. You can also see last time price slightly pulled into this range of supply. We got a nice shooting star close right there. That's a nice indication as well that price is likely to head down further, and that's what we got. So price action and market structure is king. I'm like, it's real simple, easy. It don't have to be complicated. You don't need 1,000 indicators on your chart. Just understanding how to read price, understanding the significance of supply and demand, and just price structure, right? It'll make your life a lot easier, especially understanding from a higher time frame perspective, because that's how you catch the bigger plays, right? So if we see here on the daily, we got this breakdown. All right, we could also take, we could take this counter trend line. We see we got the breakdown. Actually, breakdown, slight retest, pullback, continue down. All right, we see straight drop, go down to the smaller time frame. All right, now looking at this, my bias is still bearish. All right, so with that, I actually called this out as well. I sent this in the Telegram. I said on this retest, on this retest right here, I was expecting price to come up and retest within here and drop. That's what we got. So now moving forward, price could set up for some type of corrective pullback first. And the type of structure point I would look for potentially for it to pull back to is within that order structure there. So possibly see some type of correction, maybe a retest of structure, and continue down further. All right, that's what I would look for, because we got drop, pullback, break, slight pullback here, breakdown. So I would look for price to hold that lower high right there and set up for the next continued wave. So ideally, a pullback like that, really, we might not ever go back that deep, but we'll see. Same thing with GU. Like I would look for price to stay below this this bearish candle it formed that day on the daily. But if it does pull back a little further, then I still would look for or anticipate another bearish setup coming into play. All right. And same thing, you look to the left, right? We're at roughly around a major level of structure. So if price continues down and breaks below this structure, then that's a sign we're likely going even further, especially looking at this on a weekly. That's likely to happen because looking to the left, roughly around a strong level of demand. All right. So we can break down. You break down there, it's like you go to head lower. All right. Probably to this around this support will probably be next. All right. You can look at this at psychological level, that structure, coming down to line up with actually that level of support. All right. So we'll see how price set up this week, but it's looking beautiful. Next up, gold. All right, gold, you can see here on the weekly, gold is basically at this all-time high. This is the all-time high for gold. Up here was the all-time high made. So we can see this, and on the weekly, we're getting rejection. All right, price is failing to break above that, right, which is a big deal because it is an all-time high. I mean, eventually, I believe we're going to soar through that, long term. But we already got the rejection setting up. Initially here on the daily, we got this nice bearish engulfing close. Seeing that was a good sign that price is likely to continue further. But seeing that was a bearish engulfing on a daily, it's likely that price is going to pull back or retest first before continuing down. That's exactly what we got. I actually sent this out. If you could go on the Telegram. If you in VIP, you would know that I sent this out saying expecting price to retest within here, structure, and continue. And that's exactly what we got. All right. So now we're holding. Okay. So moving forward, I'm still bearish on this going into this week. It's just a matter of do we want to just continue down from here, or I can take my counter trend line there, or do we want to pull back a little deeper first? So ideally, I would like to see another pullback. Like if I'm trading gold, I would like to see a slight deeper correction. All right, something like this. We can see price set up for slight deeper pullback and set up to just continue down further to this level of support. All right, I will expect price to stay. I would look for price to stay below this lower high. So if it does pull back, you can either take your fib from that swing high at a lower high, right, to this low, right? If there's a deeper pullback, possibly maybe a 618, which would be ideal, lining up with our trend line, or maybe a little higher. But overall, I'm still anticipating for that to fall there. Now, here with gold, it could just continue to drop where it's at now. Like, that's definitely possible, because price did break down, slightly pull back here and just start dropping. So this could possibly just set up to continue to drop, and you could look for potential pullback opportunities to catch that wave. Next up, silver. Silver has a really nice setup. I don't know if any of you like to trade silver, but if you look at this on the weekly, we see we in this level of supply, right? Strong level of sellers. Here on the weekly, beautiful, bearish engulfing. Beautiful, strong indication that you need to see that price is definitely, it's a high chance. I don't want to say 100%, but it's just about 100% chance that this is about to continue down. Like, understanding that, when you understand the higher time frames, you're going to see that it's definitely a high probable indication, right? It's all about probability a lot of these markets. So it's just having that edge, and this gives you an edge to see where the bigger move is likely headed. All right, you look over here to the left. Before this drop, price printed this bearish engulfing right here. And then what did it do? Big drop to the downside. So I'm expecting this same indication at least to come back down within this level of support structure. Looking to the left, right? This is a level of support. Now, of course, if we break below that, similar to here, where price broke below, retest it and continue. So that can happen too. If it comes down here to go further, I would need to see a break below structure, then set up for the next wave. But moving forward, I could look at this on a daily and we could see this is a double top right here. All right. So understanding that, this will be my neckline of that double top, right? Within there, this support. So I would like to see some type of pullback, right? Or retest within there, right? Setting up for the next wave down. All right. So that's silver, bearish buyers. Next up, NZD USD also caught some of this drop. Correlations are strong. I'm gonna have to show you all if y'all don't know. See, in trading, it's all about finding that edge. You know what I mean? And when I saw the NZDs in general across the board as well, setting up to be bearish, took advantage of that. So it's good to just find things that can give you that added edge. So if we see here on NZD USD, right, we came to a level of structure where price respected as resistance before, and we see we got this strong rejection here on the weekly. All right, so going into this week, going in line with the bullish dollar, I'm expecting this to continue to go short against the dollar. So we got this at first. Initially, we got this bearish engulfing on the daily. Seeing that on the daily, these price action candles are key, especially when you look at it from a higher time frame, and when they add a level of structure, it gives you that indication to go further. So we got that drop, and then with next candle, big drop here. All right, so I am expecting a continued drop on the pullback, set up for the next wave down. But how far can we pull back? Now, if I look at this from this perspective on the 4-hour, if I look to the left, this is a level of support structure that we have here. All right. So price is breaking back below there. Okay. So I could take a trend line right here too. I could take a counter trend line. All right. Right from there. And we can see we actually broke that too. 4-hour close below. So we could potentially just see price slightly pull back here on the retest and just continue down. All right, that's a potential. And that's not much of a pullback. Now, if it don't just hold there, then we're probably going to pull back further first before setting up. But overall, Overall, I definitely expect price to stay below this daily candle, but that's a big daily candle right there. NZD USD is not very volatile, but when it moves like this is definitely some type of fundamental influence. There was like NZD inflation numbers that came out, and that's actually what helped drive this even further down. So this one candle is over 100 pips. All right, so we could possibly pull back a little further, maybe 50% of that. So I'll just say be patient on this setup, but just overall understanding that the bears are coming, continue to come. It's NZD USD, all USD, similar type setup. You can see here on the weekly, and AU respects structure beautifully. We see here to the left, this was a level of support. All right, right here, breakdown, retest, continue. Price kept respecting this level, and then here we got a strong rejection. So coming into this week, still expecting bears. Here on the daily, we got the bears engulfing, and then price just continued down. Ideally, you would have liked to see some type of pullback, but it didn't give it that. It just continued down. Now this daily candle closing bearish as well. So I'm expecting price to continue down at least into this level of support structure down here, right? At least down here within support. So for the next play, we could see price slight pullback. Hold on. Didn't mean to put that there. So let's see right here. You could take your counter trend line here. See, we got the breakdown. So, and then right here, we got this nice breakdown here. All right. So I would look for price to stay below structure here, you know, possibly retest within this little lower high of structure. All right. So if price comes and gives some type of pullback like this, a pullback, maybe a retest within structure, you could look for price to set up for the continued wave down. All right. I would look for price to stay below structure here. All right. So if we get some type of pullback up here, right, and you could have the stop loss there, above there, something like that, you know, and ride this down. That's a potential. So this is a nice potential setup coming on AU. GJ. All right, so looking at GJ, this was a nice play over here when I caught this sell, right, and just fell down. So now where price is at, we're holding support. We're holding support. Now if we look at the left, we are at a major level of supply. So, you know, price could be setting up to just continue to fall. All right. Now, but what price did is it came down, and we are sitting at this level of structure. So we possibly could see this set up to give another move up before any more drop. Because seeing right now here on the smaller time frame, we are holding support. But I wouldn't be surprised if this slightly pull back here and just continue to break down. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, right? And then if it does do that, for me to continue to look for sales here, I would need to see a break of structure. If we get this break of structure, then I would look for a pullback or a retest and catch the next wave. All right. But for right now, this is holding support. So we possibly could see this move further up. All right. But I would be patient with GJ, see how things develop and just react accordingly. Real JPY, same thing. Price came down to a major level of structure support. We look on the weekly, price has been in an uptrend as well. That's something to keep in mind. All right, looking to the left, right, we can see this basically rejecting major level of supply here. All right, major level of supply. So what price did is slightly broke above it, slightly broke it, and then pulled back down below it. All right, so understanding that moving forward, I'll just get rid of this real quick. You know, this was a nice structure hold. So it's holding support. You know, it's showing signs that it's possibly going to set up to just continue up. So right now it's looking like it's bullish based off of the type of support structure it's holding. All right. This also is potentially an inverted head and shoulders right here. Slight inverted head and shoulders. All right. So if this just continues up from here, you know, price could just continue and give a deeper pull up. Maybe something like this, catch the pullbacks, look to continue to ride that up. In order for this to continue bearish for a bigger move down, if we break this structure, then that's a sign that we're going even further down. UJ, USD/JPY, another nice potential bullish setup for JPY pair. This one I actually like probably a bit more, especially with the dollar being bullish. So if we see here on the daily, basically price came down, and it came down to this previous structure low of support, and it found some support right here. So now we're holding firm, all right? Because this was big. Now, if it would have broke below similar to this, then that's a sign that we were going further. And that's what I would have had to see on UJ. I would have needed to see a nice breakdown below, then maybe catch the pullback or retest and continue. But we didn't get that. We got a firm hold of support, and now here on the daily, nice daily pump. This is really like a bullish. This is really like a morning star here on the daily as well. Nice pump, nice bullish indication. So now I would expect just some type of pullback. All right. Some type of pullback, like on a smaller time frame. You know, this could pull back because also this is like a double top right here. I mean, a double bottom here. All right. So with the double bottom, this actually breaks the neckline of resistance. So that's a good indication. So now I would just look for price, you know, on this pullback, maybe towards 135 or so, look for price to continue up. And something that helps is like when I see this type of daily pump, especially on the daily, I expect price to stay above that daily candle. All right. So if this pullback, let's say this is what I do sometimes. What I do sometimes is I'll measure this daily candle, right? Swing low of the candle to the swing high. And maybe it could pull back 50% to 61.8, something like that. But I will expect price to stay. I will expect price to stay above that daily candle. All right. So stop loss could be like above, below the candle. And then, you know, -27 could be a target, or like 136, and then potentially even higher towards these levels of resistance. All right. So that's how I would look at UJ for the next potential play. And lastly, oil. Oil had a big sell-off. I was anticipating this to happen. After it found support at this low, we pulled up to this level of structural support, found resistance, and had a big sell-off. And it's good to understand as well that oil does trade, usually it trades inverse of the dollar. So we see dollar pumping and we see oil dumping. All right. Because the USD CAD pumped as well to go in line with that as well. So it's just having these different understandings of these different correlations and how to understand how that can give you an edge. So we had a strong breakdown, slight pullback, and then a dump. So here on the 4-hour, we see we actually got a nice bearish engulfing close on that pullback. All right. So I am looking for price. Like I would expect price to actually stay below here. All right. So we can get some type of slight pullback here on oil. All right. And look for that to set up, expecting price to stay below. All right. On oil. So those are the setups on my watch list for the week. Now, of course, you know, I have a variety that I go over. I'll show you guys, but going into the week, I like to narrow it down to like maybe my top 2 or top 3 potential setups, and what gives me the best risk reward. I look to take that, and I just keep it simple. All right, because especially with the dollar pairs, a lot of these dollar pairs, they all gonna move in the same direction, right? So it's no need to be in multiple dollar pairs, because if you do, you know, a lot of time, you know, sometimes I'm in like $2 pairs, but if I'm being honest with you, if you're in more than $1 pair, especially when the dollar's moving bullish or whatever it's doing, you know, you could be increasing your risk, you know, because if one goes wrong, likely they're both going to go wrong. All right. So just keep that in mind. But all these dollar pairs are likely going to move the same this week. So it's just about, you know, what gives you the better setup, you know, what pair you like, and just take your pick. All right. So be sure to like and subscribe. I hope you got value from that. If you're not in the free Telegram, you can click the free Telegram link in the bio. As well as, you know, if you're in the VIP, I will keep you guys up to date. If you're looking for hands-on mentorship, signals, education, hands-on training with me and everything, you can tap into the VIP. Everything will be in the bio. Also, the broker, you know, swaymarkets.com. Go on and tap in with the broker as well. And I'll see y'all on the next video.